if Joe Biden is elected, the Desert Eagle would be illegal. Let's talk about that today. Before I get going in this video, I really got to say thank you to the sponsor of this channel, Franklin Armory. They've been a huge supporter of me for a long time. As you all know, if you've been a long time watcher, I've been down with their products for a long time. The CA7, the CA11, and the CA12 are 3 AR-15 pistols on the California handgun roster that also would be banned by these bills and laws that Biden would sign into effect. But California is in a special need when it comes to firearms in order to work around the laws, and Franklin Armory is one of the few companies that goes above and beyond to support the California market. Show them some love, drop a like on this video, subscribe if you want to know more. Let's talk about Joe Biden's plan to end gun violence today. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen many people talk specifically about Joe Biden being bad, and obviously I've made several videos talking about Joe Biden and his continued attack on the Second Amendment. I've talked about how Kamala Harris, as her time in the DOJ, actually used unlawful and non-statutory powers to stop people from being able to legally own guns when she did not have the legal authority to do so. I want to first just take you through Joe Biden's website on the Biden plan to end our gun violence epidemic. I want to show you a few portions of it, and I want to show you why specifically I know that if his plan goes into effect, we would no longer be able to purchase guns like a Desert Eagle or any of the other cool guns that we really do like. So I gotta sort of tie everything in together. I'm gonna jump around and then we're gonna go after it. So Joe Biden is gonna take on the NRA, which really, honestly, I'm not sure why that's too big of a deal. The NRA is the organization that seems to constantly concede on a lot of things. It's really the Firearms Policy Coalition, CRPA, and GOA that are really going after it, but that's a topic for another day. NRA, yes, is important, but they're lacking. So they work with the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act alongside Senator Dianne Feinstein to pass the 1994 to 2004 assault weapon ban. Then he talks about his time with President Obama and going through executive action, something that Kamala Harris has said that she would do if within 100 days she doesn't have an anti-gun bill. She would sign executive orders to stop guns from being able to be sold that are assault weapons, going after the gun show loopholes. Now, here's the part where it says hold gun manufacturers accountable. This isn't necessarily anything to do with the assault weapon ban, but I did want to talk about it. So, voting against the Protection of Lawful Commerce Act. Basically, it's the protections that if a gun manufacturer sells a gun and somebody goes out and does something illegal with it, he voted so that anyone could sue the manufacturer of the gun because someone bought it and then did a bad thing. He wants that to be able to be a thing. He wants to end any sort of protection for firearms manufacturers, which would basically make it not feasible for any manufacturer to continue running business. Because when you have people like Bloomberg pumping money into these organizations, they would just get sued every time someone gets killed by a Glock. Every time someone gets killed by any firearm, they would get sued out of business. Now, get weapons of war off our street. He talks about banning assault weapons along with Senator Feinstein. Now, if we go to the 116th Congress S66, this is a bill that was put in place by Ms. Feinstein and all these other people. Now, first, I want to talk about this. The first section is just talking about some definitions of what the terms mean. Now, specifically, a section that I think is really interesting and was the topic of the hook of this video, a semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any one of the following. Now, if we look here, a manufactured weight of 50 ounces or more when unloaded. Well, let's do some math real quick. We know that a Desert Eagle weighs 4.5 pounds unloaded times 16 ounces per pound. That's 72 ounces. The Desert Eagle would be considered an assault weapon in the state of California. You heard it here, folks. Joe Biden would want to ban the Desert Eagle. Now, we can also look at the rest of this. Now, there's another specific one that I think is actually pretty dangerous. This would basically be a full-on handgun ban. So like I said, a semi-auto pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and any of the following. So, a semi-auto pistol with a detachable mag that is a version of an automatic firearm. Now, what does that mean? I don't believe there's any solid definition in here, but if we look up what an automatic firearm is and a semi-automatic firearm, Would a Glock 18 be the full auto version of a Glock 17? So would the Glock 17 be banned? Would an AR-15 pistol that's lightweight below 50 ounces, which probably wouldn't be too impossible, be the semi-auto version of a full auto M16? This is something that I think is incredibly vague, and I think it's actually very dangerous, because this would be a way to ban basically every handgun if a full auto version of it has ever been produced. Whether or not the ATF interprets it that way doesn't matter, because the way this law is written, it could happen. A semi-auto version of an automatic firearm. Any firearm that was a pistol with a semi-auto that's a detachable magazine could be banned if a full auto version of it exists. And that's pretty interesting. And then we got the classics like, you know, the barrel shrouds, threaded barrel, all these other fancy stuff, a second pistol grip on a pistol, specifically banning braces or a similar component. So any stabilizing braces no longer going to be a thing on pistols. For your shotguns, if it has a pistol grip on a shotgun, on a semi-auto shotgun, a folding or telescoping or detachable stock, a fixed magazine with the capacity to accept more than 5 rounds. 5 rounds out of a shotgun? Oh man, it's such an assaulty weapon now. Man, it's just kind of crazy to see that this is what they're going after instead of actually doing anything that would actually stop violence in the first place. We can kind of ramble and rave on about this, but I think the best way to illustrate how silly the assault weapon ban really is and what Biden and Kamala Harris want to enact is by showing you a deagle, and this gun would be an assault weapon. Yes, this gun is heavy. It's impractical. It's not the best gun for defensive use unless you need to defend yourself against 2 bears. But this gun is not a danger. This gun is not a menace to society. The real menace to society is the culture that's propagated violence and the war on drugs and all these other issues that go underline and actually create the danger and the violence in the cities. We really need to be focusing on the root issues here, and I just really wanted to illustrate how ridiculous all of this is. Because in theory, this assault weapon ban would ban every Glock, because isn't a semi-auto version of a Glock 18 just a Glock 17? I don't know. You tell me. I'm sure that Bloomberg and all these people would love to put a bunch of money into suing the gun companies for selling these assault weapons to private citizens. I really just wanted to bring this to your attention. I really hope that we don't see a Biden and Harris presidency because, I mean, we all know that would suck for guns. Guns are important. The Second Amendment is important, and I urge you to educate yourself whether you vote one way or the other. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I just hope that you're educated on the topic and know what it is that you're voting for. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.